Hola y buenos días. Yo soy el señor Maurice. Soy el maestro de español. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Today, we'll review what we've covered up to now in this unit. We'll look at some percussion instruments. And then, time permitting, we'll look at how we can make some percussion instruments of our own. Pero primero, vamos a cantar nuestra canción de saludos. Canten conmigo. Hola, buenos días. ¿Cómo están ustedes? ¿Cómo se sienten? Yo me siento bien. Muy bien. You know, last class we introduced the 4 different groups of musical instruments, okay? And we started off with those that have strings. Okay, here are the stringed instruments we looked at. Does anyone remember what these are called? Los instrumentos de cuerda. And we talked about some examples of these. The first one is this one, the instrument that I play when we sing. La guitarra. La guitarra. This is the larger version of that instrument, and it was called el guitarrón. El guitarrón. We looked at this instrument, and again, it's a cognate, so that makes it pretty easy. El violín. El violín. And this instrument that Ms. Strong showed us, she brought one in, a smaller one, and that is el arpa. El arpa. Okay. We also looked at those instruments that you beat on or you shake. Okay. And these were called los instrumentos de percusión. Instrumentos de percusión. Okay. We talked about the instruments that have wind pass through them, like all of these that we see here. And wind was viento in español, so these are instrumentos de viento. Okay, and then we talked about those instruments that have keyboards, like all of these that have the keyboards that you play. And we said that those are called instrumentos de teclado. Instrumentos de teclado. Today, we'll be looking at los instrumentos de percusión. Okay, los instrumentos de percusión. And these are the ones that you hit on or shake or move in some way like that to make a sound. Now, some examples of these instruments are this. A whole set of these is called la batería. Write that into your notebooks. It looks like battery, doesn't it? La batería. Okay, la batería is one example of instrumentos de percusión. Another one is this. Just one of these is called el tambor. Get that into your notebooks. El tambor. Another instrument, otro instrumento de percusión es las castañuelas. Okay, go ahead and get this into your notebook. Las castañuelas. See, that has the ñ, ñuelas. And these are the ones that you see flamenco dancers hold in their hands and they clap them together to make noise. Las castañuelas. And otro ejemplo es las maracas. Las maracas. Okay. And the last one is this one. It's called el güiro. El güiro. And you see this has the 2 dots over the U. And you take that stick and you kind of rough it up and down the little ridges there. El güiro es un instrumento de percusión. Well, you know what? It's kind of hard to understand, isn't it? So, we had Dr. Stephen Hemphill of the music department here at NAU come to our class to show us some of these instruments. Now, he brought some really cool things. Let's see what he had with him right now. Show us some percussion instruments.
Good morning.
Morning, Steve.
Nice to be here.
Could you please explain to us some of the things about these instruments and maybe demonstrate for some of them for us?
Certainly. We have lots of percussion instruments on the table here. I'm going to start off with the last instrument that you talked about, the güiro. This one is actually made of metal and has a very bright sound. It's kind of a little rake here that I use against this instrument. I scrape the instrument back and forth many times in different ways. I can also play the same way using a gourd. This is a gourd that grows in the ground. It's been hollowed out. And this is a long one, so I put it over my shoulder, and I have a lot of surface here to scrape. A larger gourd just gives us a little bit darker or deeper sound.
You make it look so easy. Is it difficult to play percussion instruments?
Some yes and some no. Some are very easy, and many of these are quite easy. One of the easiest instruments is the claves. This is really the heartbeat of much dance music of Latin America. These are small ones. They're quite bright, chipper. The rhythm I'm playing is called the clave rhythm. This is a 3/2 son clave. There's also rumba claves, different kinds of rhythms that are played, but they really are the heartbeat of the instruments, are the sound that's being made. So people can dance knowing what beat they're on. Same thing with a little bit larger sound. It's a darker sound.
And I noticed that this one's hollow, so it gives a different sort of tone.
It is different, isn't it? And I use my hand to cup the sound just a little bit underneath there. It's a sound chamber. For example, on this instrument, if I just play them like this, they're quite dull. So I make a little cup, let the instrument rest on my hand, and just play it along that way. Shakers of different kinds give us different sounds too, kind of a background swish. That has little beads inside or beans shot. That's a metal one. This is plastic. It's a little bit softer sound. Going on to the castanuelas, the castanets. These are mounted on a handle. Most frequently they're played, if you're dancing, of course, in the hand. This is a dark sound. These are a bit larger than the others, but I can play my rhythms and even do some rolls by sustaining the sound right here on my leg. The brighter sounding instruments are smaller. The cowbell is handheld and played with other instruments. The bongo player actually usually plays this instrument. It is played with a stick, and I'm going to play on the various surfaces. This is called cencero in Spanish. This instrument is actually from another part of South America. This is Brazilian, but it's called afuxé, and it's sometimes found in this area, and it can be played different ways. It's these ring of beads on a serrated surface. I'm going to go to the larger instruments now for just a moment. The timbales on this side is actually kind of two instruments in one. We frequently play the cowbell or cencero and the drum at the same time. Sometimes we play on the side of the drum, the shell. It's called cascara. A little bit later, we're going to play some of these instruments together.
Great.
I'd like to go on to the congas right behind you. Congas are one of the most important instruments in Latin American dance music, and various rhythms are played. And I use different parts of my hand to play different sounds, and there are different pitches between the two instruments here.
Have different sounds. What makes the different sounds from what appears to be a very similar looking drum?
Well, they're tuned differently. This one's lower tuning. That head is less tight. This is a little bit tighter head. And it's a slightly smaller drum. Also, I'm using different parts of my hand. For an open tone, it's just played with the top half of your hand. But I can also play filled in sounds with my hand, my left hand, going back and forth like this. Also, I have these little pops I can play by, I'm going to rest or dampen the head here and just get a little high slap sound. Bongos are similar to the congas. They're a much smaller version, and they sound a lot higher in pitch. The rhythm that I played over here was called tumbao, and the rhythm I play on the bongos is called martillo, which means hammer. That's just one rhythm of various choices I could make, but they will all go together for a special kind of sound. I'm going to have one of our other guests come up and introduce this instrument. This is a steel drum called pan from Trinidad, Tobago. It's associated with Caribbean islands. And Josh Gautry, if you would help us out and play just a little tune, I'm going to accompany you very lightly on the congas. See, these instruments are all, there's various sizes, but they're dented upward after the whole instrument is pounded down, and you can see the various notes are actually written in there sometimes, sometimes not, but that's because, so the actual notes are in a random order, and they're kind of hard to find. It's not like a piano where they're in order.
It helps the player find what he's trying to play.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, in just a second, we can play a quick little dance music here. I'm going to ask another Josh, this is Josh Edwards, another student here at NAU, and we're going to play just a little simple dance rhythm using congas and bongos, claves, and the timbales with censero, cowbell. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you very much,
You're very
Steve.
welcome.
As with
Thank
so
you,
many
gentlemen.
types of artists, you do it so well, you make it look so easy, but I know that there's a lot of artistry and effort and training that goes into it. Wow, that was really fascinating. I appreciate Dr. Hemphill coming by with his students to show us some of these things. And did you notice how he said that the way they get the different sounds out of the instrument is by stretching the head, either tighter or looser, and that'll give them different sound qualities, much like it did when we were talking about the stringed instruments. Yeah. Ahora, pueden repasar con la hoja de actividades llamada los instrumentos de percusión. Let's look at that right now. Okay. Up at the top here, let's go ahead and voy a escribir mi nombre. I'd like you guys to write your names and say the letters as you write them out, okay? R, O, V, E, R, T, O, Roberto. Now, this one's pretty easy. It's kind of got two parts. The top part says, match the instrument names to the pictured instruments. Okay. Well, here are the names: las castañuelas, el tambor, las maracas, y el güiro. El güiro. So go ahead and decide which one is named which down here, and you can write the name from here. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. This one I happen to know is las maracas. Las maracas. Okay, I'm going to mark through that since I've used it. And the reason I know that is because right down here at the bottom, it has some instructions for making maracas. Now, you'll need various craft materials, and you can use these plastic eggs, you can use plastic bottles, you can use toilet paper rolls, you can use soda cans. You'll need some dowels or rulers or different things to hold on to the things. And then you'll need some things to put inside. You can use beans or rice or just about anything. You'll need some glue, maybe some rubber bands and some tape so that you can make some instruments. And I went ahead and made one myself here. I just took a can and I put some things inside of it and I taped mine to a ruler. So that I made my maracas myself. Okay? And now, if you're going to make some maracas, try experimenting with different things. Maybe different types of containers, metal, plastic. Don't use glass because we don't want it to break. And then experiment putting different things inside. Put some rice inside and see how it sounds. Put some dried beans in another one to see how that sounds. See if you can hear the difference between the two. They will make different tones. Now, if you'd like to, after you make these, you can use them to play along with while we sing our Canción de Saludos or our goodbye songs in our classes, okay? My students always enjoy doing that. It gives them a chance to play along. Another thing that you can do is find any sort of can or anything that you can use as a drum. Try doing some of the things that Dr. Hemphill was talking about, using different parts of your hand. See if you can make different tones come out of them too. Okay? Now, next class, we will continue looking at instruments with an examination of the wind instruments. Okay? And those are the kind that you pass wind through, you blow wind through, instrumentos de viento. Pero saben que ya es hora de despedirnos. That's right, la despedida. For our goodbye song today, I would like to sing Cielito Lindo. Y voy a tocar mi guitarra. When you guys get your instruments made, you can sing along with me. You can play with me. You can sing with me right now. Canten conmigo. De la Sierra Morena, cielito lindo, vienen bajando un par de ojitos negros, cielito lindo de contrabando. Ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Very good. Until we see each other next class, adiós y hasta luego.